Hello, everyone, and welcome to another community critique and chill session. This is a weekly space hosted by Forrest and me, and it's just a place where we can safely practice giving feedback and getting feedback, and then afterwards just chill and talk about lighting. So let's get started.
So first up, we have this submission from Ben.
Yeah, this is animal fight shots, lion and zebra. The idea here is more to get that realistic look and natural look. Yeah, this is the idea.
Nice. It's a cool shot. I like the camera work. Definitely gives it that like nature documentary feel with the zooming and
Exactly.
following the action.
Did you want to make it? Did you say you want to make it like a documentary, nature documentary type, or
Yeah, yeah,
oh,
natural
National
documentary.
Geographic?
Exactly around this idea.
And then there's some reference image attached.
So you can think close to the grass is green. Some grass are green, so it's hard to match exactly yellowish color. Yeah, this kind of moods when sunrise and sunset.
Okay.
Mute this one.
Does anyone have any feedback right away?
Lighting wise, I think it looks great. I'd say maybe saturate the colors a little bit more, so to get it more in together with the references you have. And maybe the lighting looks a bit washed up, washed out, but very little. But I think it looks great.
Anybody else?
What do you think about the depth of field? I feel it's wrong. I don't know. I'm not really expert with the camera.
I'll say I think more that the field more if it's zoomed in from that distance, right? Double check.
Lion
I don't know.
documentary.
Yes.
Hey,
Wow.
stop.
Direct.
Director.
Ads. What were you saying?
Yeah.
Me?
Or what were you saying, Ben?
I say this. You make it direct to the point.
Bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
I think if the camera suggests that it's zoomed in from like a distance. And I
Yeah,
think in
very.
that case, the depth of field is more shallow. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
it's exactly the right word, but like more blur, probably.
Yeah. Whenever you have a
Is it
zoom lens, yeah, you're gonna have more shallow depth of field with that compression of the image, and yeah, I think that this could benefit from it.
is this like are you going for like a sunset or like
Yeah, sunset.
sunset?
Yeah, that pink color. You can see even the depth there. I put just around with the gray. It's mixing with the gray.
Did you do the animation also?
No.
Okay.
No.
Did
So
you?
this animation for Monster and Premium School. So
Okay.
they provide me with the groom and the animation. Then I did the rest.
Did you do the camera?
No. The animator did the animation and the camera.
Okay.
He's already locked the camera.
All right. Um, Yeah, I actually can. Can you run like a couple of times, Forrest? Just
Yeah, I think the angle and the placement of the key sunlight is good, is working. I think it could be a little more saturated on the little bit on the orange side, like just a little bit, and then I think it could go stronger. I think I would like to. I think I would suggest that you see what it looks like when it's a little bit stronger, the sunlight.
You mean the key light have to increase its intensity
Mhm.
with its color also? Oh, sorry, with the temperature.
Yeah, temperature adjustment like slight,
Mhm.
intensity up a little bit, like more than the temperature adjustment.
Oh, yeah.
one thing you might want to try if you want to change the whole lighting. I just noticed now that for most of the time, the lion's face is in the shadow. Which, if it is a documentary, then you don't control which way they're going to run. But once you're doing that, it might be interesting to try and see if the light is coming from the left camera side, if it doesn't look better, like right there, hitting the face of the lion instead of the lion being in the shadow.
Can you go to the reference? You can see the setup of the scene. Yeah. So down. These two images. The last two images. Yeah,
Okay.
this year. So you can see the sun on the right, and where the setup, where is the rock there in the center. So it's coming from their back left side. Yeah.
And are you able to rotate that?
Oh, I can't. Is there a link to come and join this?
Yeah. Um,
Did you? Where is it?
I'll put the link in the whip and feedback channel.
Oh, okay.
Oh, can you not see what I'm looking at, or?
I am. Oh, I mean, this website you are using. But
Oh.
it's okay.
Oh
It's
no.
okay.
Yeah.
So you can see in the center there is a rock or some like mountains. Yeah. So there was the anim. Yeah, this is the direction of the sun. But if you look at the right image, in the center of the image, there is some mountain.
Okay.
Yeah, there is where is the animal there. So you can see on the right is the sun or the direction of the light. So it's coming from the back left side and creating on the right side the shadow.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the idea of this setup.
Gotcha.
I have just only HDR image that for the fill, and the sun is just the key, no other lights.
Gotcha.
But you can also always rotate the HDMI, right?
Right, yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, I think Andre's suggesting trying different directions for the key light,
Hmm.
so that maybe in these like moments you get a little bit more less shadow on the face. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah,
like one of those things that's like worth a try because we're not necessarily trying to read like their face, but
yeah,
it can always help. And along the same line, I think the dust is really cool, but I think there's some parts where it like covers the lion a lot and like kind of washes it out like color wise. And maybe if you have some even like just lessening, putting it behind him, behind the line a little bit, I
yeah,
think could help too.
Yeah. There's some points where it kind of stands out as like on top. Is that what you're talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Like right here, we can see like there's like this black these kind of black details causing it to not feel super well integrated, and maybe even you could adjust the opacity
Yeah.
to help with that too. Make it feel less thick. I would suggest watching, like find some documentaries and play around with that. One I think this will help with reference because like this one to me, this is a little bit different time of day, but still like you can see how dark the shadows are on these lions. And then like, how
I
I
think
mean
like
like
this time.
this time of day, then like you'd probably want to do softening like
It's
on
around. It's diffused. The light is getting diffused more.
yeah. So then if you're going for that, because I'd say right now it feels like you're split between these two different times of day. Like when I first watched it, I did feel, and maybe this is also just bias of like the documentaries I've seen on lions being shot in the day, but I immediately like started to feel like, like a hot day more than I felt sunset.
Mm.
Part of it is, the shadows, especially on the lion, um, are very, very sharp.
Yeah.
So that stood out to me. Where if you're going for that kind of like sunsetty, the sun's mostly behind already, and you're compensating in your exposure in the camera for that, then there'd
Mm.
be the contrast ratio between your highlights and your shadows, or your your I'm blanking right now, but basically your contrast ratio between your sun and skylight should come down. They should be closer.
Yeah.
Here you can still feel that the sun's probably behind a cloud or something, but you can see a little bit here. We're getting a little bit of a hit from possibly the sun, but the shadows are incredibly like diffused out. Um, and maybe you can find something better, like if you're looking at some other documentaries from that kind of time that you're going for. Ugh. Sorry for the ads, everybody. So another thing this time of day, if they are silhouetted and you have the sun behind, you get these cool hits of sun coming through the hair, which in your reference you have
Yeah.
here. So maybe work on getting your reference a little bit more to exactly the look you want, and don't just focus on kind of the landscape. Get some of like what you want the lion to look like, at the different points, and and go from there.
Yeah.
It's really cool. This is a cool shot. I'm very excited to see this.
Wow.
Animation
Thank
is
you.
really cool. The set is like perfect too. I don't know if you put that in there. Sounds like it. It's really nice.
Yeah. Sweet. Oh,
Thank you.
of course. Next up, we had this cool fisherman fella from Brendan. I don't think is here. Nope. I think they also said something about it, and I'll double check. Yeah, they're just still working on this piece. Anyone have any feedback right away?
Yeah, it's like rough, but something seems like
It looks to me like we used a flash that made his eyes red.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
I think he
Interesting.
looks a little dead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Like been dead for 2 weeks kind of skin tone. Like the detail and everything is awesome. And I feel like I can really feel the skin texture and everything, but just the base tone of this like gray, green, blue
Agreed.
is a little, unless he's like a zombie, you know. I think that's like the main thing, but I'm really, yeah, without information on like the intent,
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely one of those good
absolutely wrong. But
learning lessons on like why reference is huge for feedback and making sure you're communicating with the people giving you critique on like what your intent was. 'Cause, yeah, it's looking awesome, but and there's so much we could say to help kind of to drive it. And yeah, I'd agree with Diana. If they're not dead, watch out for these like low saturation places.
mhm.
Even if they are, maybe there could be more like blending. Like right now, it's very splotchy. And then on the lighting side, I wonder if you can get a little bit more dynamicism in this volumetric. Kind of currently, it's just like this line here and here. So I wonder if using a gobo or putting some geo in front of it to kind of break up the volumetric light rays would help out. And then the eyes are getting the red. Yes, that's if that's it feels like flash photography, like Andre said, where you can like see the back of their eye. But and then these spec hits are feeling pretty, almost like to the point of starting to wash out big parts of the eye, making it feel more like plastic than like the sclera. I like the ears a lot. I like how they're flat here. I think this is a cool, like, artistic choice. This hat, the top of the hat almost feels like iron to me, more than like a weathered brim. I think because of just how the roughness is on the brim of the hat. And then it looks like there might be a UV line here or something, causing a very harsh shift from the neck to the chest. Anyone else? Alrighty, then we will move on to some more shading. Next up, we have Nigel, who's working on this dude repping the Academy of Animated Art.
He's wearing merch that doesn't exist in real life.
Yeah.
The first design of the merch
Yeah.
is by Nigel.
Anybody have any feedback right away? I think someone already said this in the chat, but some of the specular highlights, the hits are feeling like a bit more like plasticky, and so maybe there can be some more playing around with that. I do like that we're getting some breakup from the skin texture, and I think it's working over here, and maybe this is the like the I mean that yeah I don't know. Anyone else have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think you can add um like maps to make sure maybe it could be to the weight or the color or even the roughness, but like mats to make sure that these kind of highlights are a little bit less like there's a little bit less specular weight on like these parts than maybe just like this kind of highlight that's like down the nose or the lips. Those lips, I personally think are really nice when they're glossy. Anyway, I think there's could be some maps to like lessen these really blown out highlights because I think specular is like really important for skin, but it is getting a little too hot.
Mm-hmm.
And also the sclera on this side is getting really, really bright.
Yeah. Yeah, we're looking that we're clipping the whites.
I think some more like color variation, just like subtle hints of stuff like on the cheeks. I see a little bit on the ears. Maybe it's the subsurface too, but like push it a little bit more. Some color variation on lips because you know how like it's more pink as it goes into the center of the lips,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe a little bit darker on the outside. Things like that I think could really help a lot.
Yeah. Maybe even working on getting like a bump, like it has like the lines, like
Yeah.
get a bit more detail that separates the lips out from the rest of the bump you have going on for like the rest of the skin.
The like a logo on the shirt is I like how I feel like there's some like bump on it, so it
Oh,
feels
okay.
appropriately there, but it feels like sparkly almost in its shine. I would keep an eye out for
I,
that
yeah.
because yeah.
I personally would want our Academy shirts to be sparkly.
Yeah. If honestly it's a really great idea. I really like this. Just mentioning it because I don't know if, that would be the
Yeah.
go-to material for it, but if we had a say in that, I would definitely go push for those.
It should be like
That little
the
itchy
sequins that like one
sequence.
side up, is
Yeah.
like black, and then you go the other side
Yeah.
and it's gold.
We
Yeah.
Like
could be
the
AAA students in like stealth mode because it would just be black shirt normally, and then you just wipe it down. It's the
yeah.
logo.
One thing about the logo is that um, it almost looks, I don't know, it almost looks to me like it was put in Photoshop afterwards. Um, I don't know. It feels like it should be. I mean, I imagine he put it in, I don't know, Substance or something.
Yeah.
I feel like it should be a bit more distorted once he's a bit sideways. I don't know.
Mhm.
Or maybe a little bit more bump that shows the, I don't know.
Yeah, I think with the geo like of the shirt being super smooth too, I would
Yeah.
expect that's not really helping.
Mm-hmm.
If he is using if he can use fabric, I think it will help because now I feel it is more to plastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so if he add material fabric, I think also Substance Painter has fabric. He can use them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that could be a good idea to put some sort of thread, you know, wool, cotton or something,
Mm-hmm.
that you can see a bit more of the fabric thread.
Yeah, I think because like the edges of the logo and the words are very crisp and like perfect feeling. I think that also contributes to it feeling like it's very flat on there.
Yeah. 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 Integrate it maybe a little bit more. Maybe it's a bit like embossed in or beveled in.
Boss, or maybe like just the logo, no words. I think if it you go more like less shiny, kind of faded, it was like stamped on there 5 years ago and now it's kind of like falling off a little bit. I think those kind of design choices can really help like meld it into the
Mm-hmm.
shirt
That's
rather than
but that's not going to sell
this.
shirts though, Diana.
Okay. Nigel, do a version for us so that we can send it to the factories and also do another version for whatever shot you're gonna use.
Yeah. You're very right, Diana. Same treatment for the pants and shoes, and these are getting close to clipping. It looks like, um, and yeah, maybe even darken the pants a little bit, give them a little bit more texture. Anybody else?
Definitely keep going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice work. Alrighty. Next up, we have Jake, who submitted this work in progress, and they also, one of the things that they brought up, they're struggling to really make the character stand out from the environment, and so they said they've tried doing things like using a much higher key, giving him a brighter yellow color, and so a couple different people suggested different things. Eva sent a very nice reference of something that Jake could possibly use. Talking about the, like, this is adding warm color in the key light for simulating the sun. And then there's just nice framing too of the characters using the rule of thirds on the screen. And this one clearly has crossed it for dramatic effect, but when they're sitting up, they'd be somewhere in here. And then with this one, we've got kind of the character right in the center. So Eva's suggesting reframing it so the characters, like right here.
Well, necessarily, you don't have to put it in the third. You could have characters sitting center frame, if
For
you
sure.
like, because for a mid shot like this, yeah, you can keep it like kind of closer to that side, but you can keep them center frame.
Yeah, no, I mean, it all depends on what the intent is, and if they get some more reference, they could definitely kind of suss that out. Like Wes Anderson uses center framing a lot, and it's very intentional.
Oh yeah, but one thing that I run into this problem a lot with a lot of my stuff, and since I'm starting to use more black characters and characters with darker skin, um, I can't use like to make it easier on myself. I have to use lighter backgrounds because, like, if you go back to the reference with the bad guys, you notice how, like, yeah, they have the rim, like that strong rim, but that rim completely disappears in this backdrop. And that's mainly because, you have them directly in front of this light source. So they're already pretty cut out from the background.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to this other one, I don't know, you could cheat a rim light from to give the illusion of like, okay, it's coming from the top, quote unquote, since you have that light back there to kind of help cut him out a little bit from the hairline. And because I see a little bit of it up top, but maybe kind of bring it down near his ear and like on the back of his head, maybe.
I feel that will flat him. I mean, he will lose the shaping if he do that.
I think that the main to me the main problem there is that you have this, let's say this how do you say that, this the light is coming from the window, hitting him, hitting the seat, and hitting the table. So it's one splash of light going across the frame, and he just happens to be in the middle of it, and the part that his shadow part is basically the same, almost the same value and the same color as the background. So
Yep.
that's why the character is not standing out at all. It could be that talking about composition or something. Maybe if he rotates the camera to the left a little bit so that the character stands against the dark background, that might change and make the character stand out. And I know that it was also suggested to change the color of the seat and have a dark seat. Also, instead of these two white lines, that would probably help a lot too. And maybe change the color of the table also.
Yeah, I think
So
darkening the
you're
seat
kind of
would-
having a path of light going across the frame, and that kind of takes the attention more than the subject.
Yeah. Diana,
Yeah,
what were you saying?
I was saying I definitely darkening the seat texture I think will help a lot.
Yeah.
But I think personally, I don't really have trouble reading the right side of his silhouette. I think oh, sorry. I think it's this side that gets really hard to read with these shapes and then the like gobo on his face and the hair and everything. I think that this side is the side that like you would want to work on. Because I think on this side, the background is like brighter. It's reads as like dark on bright for me. It's a little bit faded back here, and then this is dark and more contrasty, so I think it works. But the left side, I think I would work on. And going to this reference, if you wanted to do something like this, I think I would definitely blow out the window a little bit. Well, it's already white, but somehow make it feel brighter. And then turn this light a little bit so that it goes into a very hard rim, and then get really good shaping on his face with like bounce light and warm light rather than having this very, very hard pattern on there, which I think is like melding in with these lines.
Agree.
I think that's a really good idea, and this is like great ref for that. And there's other ways you could do it if you wanted to have the key definitely like on his face. But I think that's my suggestion. And then another like lighting thing is that this light is probably sunlight coming through the window and it's casting these shadows on the chair. And this really feels like the sunlight, whatever light is the sunlight, is very close to the window. So it's causing these shadows to be like really narrow here and then kind of get out big here. Whereas if it was sun, it would be like very distant and kind of cause more regular space shadows throughout the scene. I think that's so that's something else I would look at and make sure that the sun isn't like the sunlight is not right up against the window.
Yeah, 100% agree with that.
Can you switch to black and white?
Yeah.
Let's see the high key.
Give me 1 second. Because I set up that different.
Oh,
It just takes 1 second. Oh,
Yeah, that or you uploaded the black and white version, so you can also bring that in.
yeah.
Whichever
I'm
is
gonna give
easier.
this one more try. Or
Yeah.
try to race you. Nope. Color.
I think looking at the black and white too, I was thinking screen
Yeah.
right side of him is
There we go.
or screen left is harder.
Oh, so that's how you do that. Okay.
wow. This is
Little
new
pro
thing.
tip.
Yeah.
So one of the things that distract attention is anti-aliasing. If you look at to the texture of the chair, there is a line which is it's not straight line. Yeah, you can see. Yeah, exactly that line. It's not straight.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So this also can distract attention, and anti-aliasing or the edge of the body or the edge object in the scene, if it is not blur, it's also distracting the attention. The menu on the left, it's red, and also it's drawing attention there. My eye is switching between the bright points on the scene, also to the menu on the left. So also it's distracting attention. I mean, if he can revisit the idea of what things draw attention, and also it's a distract attention. You can find it in the scene, like white over black or black over white, saturation over desaturation. These things will attract attention and also direct attention to somewhere in the scene that we don't want. If you look at the background, there's a candle light there. The light there. That also is draw attention there. If it is necessary to the scene or the story, we keep it. But if you want to draw attention more to the character, you may just remove it, because I want just concentrate on the character to the center. If you look at to the window on the left, there is some line there. And that line can generate beam light or lines. So that lines can be cast on the character to draw also attention more to the character. So it's like you emphasize the scene with the tools or strategy of drawing attention exactly to the character. Outside the character, we don't want attention to go there. We use the blur, or we use the hierarchy. We reduce the hierarchy there until we get the point where the character getting the most of the attention. In some scenario, we can change the camera, like if we are able to. This one strategy, but most of the time you will find yourself having a scene that is already locked from the animator or from. So you have to deal with it. Maybe you change the scene lighting and the mood, or you play with the contrast exactly to get that attention.
Something I'm noticing now is these lines here don't match up with these lines. And so it feels like there's probably, like what Diana was saying about the light, there's like a spotlight somewhere here with a gobo creating this, and then this is, like an emissive behind that window or something. But I feel like if you were able to kind of adjust your sun position somewhere, like wherever creatively you want, but like, like let's take Diana's example, where you have it here and you're getting some shaping more along this, and pulling that back to more of that like kick light. It'll take emphasis off of the chair, like it'll take emphasis off of that booth, and it'll pull us into this character and help kind of ground it in reality. Yeah, that's my thought.
Yeah, because I was trying to find some reference that I like, have something going on. And have you heard, like, this is like a movie I remember seeing the previews of, but never saw it myself. Going in Style, like, heard of it?
No.
Well, go to Shop Deck and go to Going in Style.
I'll have to sign in, which I forgot about.
Oh, I can I can share it on Discord or the
is it this scene?
Well, it's that scene, but it's at a different angle.
Okay. Yeah, put a link in the whip and feedback channel. I was also thinking of
But if you look at to the reference you have already opened, it's really soft light that's coming from the key. It did not. It doesn't create that harsh shadow.
Yeah, I think definitely, unless it's like really, really, you're really like facing the sun. If you're sitting inside somewhere where the main source of light is the sun coming through the window and bouncing around the space, wouldn't necessarily make a hard shadow.
Yeah.
Oh, I uploaded a screenshot to the Discord chat.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I actually would disagree with what Diana said, because I remember when I was doing the couple in the coffee on the cafe scene, I was struggling a lot with that, and I went out and took photos, like inside a cafe or something with the lighting coming through the window, and it's still a very harsh light, kind of like what you see on that scene there. It really doesn't make that softer at all.
Yeah, if you're sitting in the sunlight, for sure.
Yeah.
No, I mean, one of the things Diana's talking about is you wouldn't have this spacing from of these bars.
I was
Oh yeah, that needs to be fixed. That's like she said, it's like the lighting is too close to the window.
It's even go to the chair. But if you look at the chair, here has shadow.
yeah, but something fun to see in these references is like, okay, I can't draw.
Sorry.
It's no. It's how like they
These are
just uncannily make sure that, I mean, like, I don't know if they made sure this just naturally happens, but it doesn't naturally happen. They definitely made sure it's happening, but like the light side of the character is like against something darker, and then the dark side of the character is like against something lighter. If you look at, forgot his name, the guy in the sun,
Michael Caine.
right? Yeah,
Yeah, Michael Caine.
Michael Caine. Okay, his face, like the right side is very bright. The screen right side is very bright, and then it's against like that outside that's not as. And then the left side, that hat gets dark, and it's like it's set against like a piece of sun. So those are like, I'm just saying this because like the submitter had like questions about how to get the character to come off the background, and I think all these references are like really nice, and these are things you should keep in mind as you like decide, do I want the key in their face, or do I want it to be like a rim and a wrap? Like those are just technical things,
Exactly.
but I would super suggest like looking at all these references and
Yeah.
kind of thinking about what's setting it apart so you can put that in your scene.
Even closing these blinds was a creative choice. Like to have him pop out versus like maybe if those were open, he might have gotten lost in that. So there's a lot of visual hierarchy and light over dark, dark over light to draw your eye.
Yeah, because I even showed like more reference images in the chat. A couple scenes from Better Call Saul where it's giving that, that lined look that they're looking for. So even looking at that sunlight, as I think it was like someone has said it before. I'm sorry if I didn't catch who, but the lines that's on them is not that like harsh 45-degree angle. Even though that the sun probably is like kind of high up, it's still like pretty even across them.
And it's being used as an interesting element, but not as like the key. Like
Right.
he's being filled in by some like artificial bounce sky, bounce light and stuff they have placed around. There's attention drawn to his hands. I assume he's making a deal or something. And here as well, they have like additional light on them other than just these harsh like light coming through the blinds. It's more of an accent.
I think that was a lot of suggestions.
Yeah, agreed.
If you do watch this, just like listen to it like a podcast, not like, okay, I'm taking notes, because it's gonna be really confusing. I think like some of the big notes is to like, play with the gobo, make sure it's physically makes sense as the sun if you're gonna use it as the sun. I think darkening the seat is still a super good idea. And like in this image too, the seat is very dark, and then the characters have like nice light clothing. I think that would really help. And then yeah, like just play around with like you could tweak the camera, you could tweak the key. The method is just endless possibilities, but what you're trying to do is what you were trying to do, which is to get the character to like read off the background. And
Yeah.
everything that was said was like good things to keep in mind.
Yeah. But a lot.
It was a lot. Yeah.
I mean, if you boil it down, find reference and then pick from what we said that serves the reference, or, you know. But
Oh, and by the by, I don't know what Discord bot is being used, but apparently Ryan Reynolds' like half naked chest is like too much.
yeah,
It's
no,
too much.
we've had issues with it recently.
Oh, yeah.
I posted like an axolotl and it thought it was an inappropriate nude.
I tried to post like a girl with like shoulders, and they were like, "No, inappropriate."
Wait a minute, like uncovered shoulders?
Yeah, uncovered shoulders.
Well, I
Not
have
allowed.
I have a scene of a couple talking in the kitchen that I can't post because it blocks it.
Yeah, well, I'll have to.
And then everybody is dressed and everything. There's nothing wrong with it or anything.
Isn't like one of them bald? It's like, that's what it's picking up.
Yeah. Next we have a reel. They just wanted feedback on it. Yeah, lots of really pretty stuff. Yeah, they said they were sending out to various studios, but without success yet. And so they're just wondering. They think it's the reel, and so they're wondering what they can do to improve it to maybe be more eye catching. I think Alex already gave some great feedback, but I figure we take a look. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of this stuff is incredible. Like this.
Yeah, being able to like pretty match Arcane, that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, that's an incredible image. I think one of the things you have to keep in mind, with like your real, like, especially like if like junior or staff and not talking about senior positions, is someone's looking at it for 30 seconds and moving on, and you want to catch them right away, and they also might not know too much about lighting to begin with. So I think starting off with video and not having breakdowns could be helpful. But I do think this is a really pretty image to start with.
Could you play it back like regular speed, that first part?
Mm-hmm.
I think they should start with the pitch. Because, like, this, I don't know. I feel like this, I've seen this room so many times. I'm like, what makes it, my immediate question is, what makes this so special? Like, no shame on that room because that was lit beautifully. It's just in the order of things. It's like, I'm pretty sure a lot of recruiters and a lot of HR personnel that's in studios have seen this very same room a lot of times. But this, I haven't seen this. Like, I haven't seen this in a lot of places. So it's like, huh. And plus it's orange. So it's automatically going to catch your eye. Like, oh, okay. You also have to play to some human psychology might play in your favor just a little bit.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I think those are good thoughts. I think the strongest piece to me, the one that really stands out, is this one. I think this is the most powerful piece for me. I think that you could have maybe this one could be in earlier and you could hold longer on the reference because it goes out pretty fast. Like let people sit and look and then go back and hold on that. There are two that I think are cool, but like like you're thinking about, your reel is as strong as your weakest links. This one to me stands out, and not even really from the lighting, but just from the geometry is very simple. There's a lot of like tangents going on. So like right here, we just have this like really solid line. This there's like this disconnect between this really simple landscape and then like this more kind of detailed clouds. Some of these feel a bit stretched.
Oh yeah, no, that's a JPEG. That is straight up a JPEG, and they're stretched out.
And so this would be one I would suggest cutting, as well as possibly this one to me. And this is another one where like my eye gets drawn to how things aren't connecting down here, with just a very flat plane, and then the texture feeling really shiny on the horse.
Oh yeah, when it comes to mammals, if you and if you're not like, I don't know if there's like a simple way of going about doing that for mammals, but like, is there an easy way to like showcase some fur without doing any grooming? I'm just asking that because I'm just like, I could see why they would want to put this in there, but is there a way for them to showcase their lighting of this horse that wouldn't involve them having to take a grooming class?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. And like, I know I wouldn't be able to do it, and would struggle because, I don't know grooming. And there are probably ways of adjusting the sheen to make it feel like it's like there's like there's some kind of like it's like an Arabian racehorse that has a really shiny, like thin coat.
Yeah, Diana, you just let us know if you're okay.
Yeah, the fire alarm went off at Diana's. Hopefully it's all fine. And like you can of course keep it, and I'm not saying like it's not great. I think there are a lot of really awesome things about it. I'm just
Yeah,
thinking. Oh, go ahead, Ben.
the depth, the depth on this scene, yeah, it's really nice. But I mean, they prefer really with the grooming. So
Hmm.
yeah, see, they were really looking for animals with the groom. They really like it. So when they see it without groom, they made question why he's not lighting with the groom.
Yeah.
I understand that it's hard to make it. She's really, really hard.
Yep. And like it's doing a great job, but just like with recruiters, they might not see past that in the same way a lighting artist or someone really experienced in 3D would see past that. So I think if you removed those two, it would shorten the reel a good bit and keep it punchy and allow you to give more time to this piece, like sitting on that reference another second, and sit on this one, like the original image, a little bit longer. I don't know what you're using for editing, but there's kind of this very harsh stop and then it cuts. And if you're able to like smooth that out to stop and then let it breathe for a second, I think that would help. And then you can show the breakdown. And then it also depends on what field you're trying to get into. Like if you're trying to get into like games, this immediately to me feels like lighting a character in games. This feels like animated film.
Mm-hmm. You were very correct because for it wasn't with Insomniac, but it was with Volition. One of the tips that I got with them was focus your reel to the industry that you're trying to go to. So, like Forrest was saying, it's like this is very animation. The character that's doing the wind up feels very gamey. So if you're trying to go for animation, stick with the animation kind of thing. Like last time we were discussing with the portfolio websites.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's a great point. Yeah, I think that's a good starting point for you. Did anyone else have any feedback? All right, then we'll move on to our last two from I'm gonna say Mick but there's this one with this reference and this one with this reference.
I like that one.
Yeah, I think these are both really cool pieces. I think they're doing a good job with like some like really soft like softening and like glow in the highlights in a very like appealing way.
Oh yeah.
There's like this really nice spec hit.
Nice.
Yeah, like man, this looks really nice. This looks like a miniature. Like the way that they utilize the depth of field and uh, some of the blur in the foreground, and then you have like the out of focus with like a little bit with the background, and maybe some like they have a lot of like subtle little things that's giving me a feel of like these are actual miniatures.
Yeah, you're able to really like I find myself looking all over and not in like a frenetic way, but I'm just enjoying seeing everything coalesce together. And I think a lot of that's probably like I think they've mastered like bounce light and like if I look here, you know, this light coming in here hitting here motivates the light up here and this like softer um like bounce like it's very like this is really appealing and beautiful to look at. There's like these interesting spec hits from these like um, metal balls that feel like some sort of like art installation. You know, you've got like these spec hits on this plane and these there's like an attention to detail to like all of the shaders um, that really makes them sing together.
I agree. Like, and plus you have a lot of spec hit from like, yeah, as your mouse is going over, it's like over the guitar and some of the paint brushes over here. Yeah, their wood material is freaking great. Like, I wonder if they're using Blender with this.
I mean, whatever it is, they've taken the time to really to look at how each one of these materials is responding, and getting that to coalesce, and a lot of that can like reference is huge for that. And I mean, even in here, in their reference, lots of spec, lots of reflectivity.
Mm.
Um, this like alien eggs got some. They've this warm. Oh, I love this lava lamp. Is in like you've got these warm spec hits here. You've got like,
Yeah, some of it on the trooper helm on screen left.
yeah. And then yeah, I can see like the warm light here, kind of trying to get that also like with this, and then you've got like the specular response in the globe, as well as this object, which maybe this one could get a little bit of this treatment. This feels maybe a little too simple compared to everything else in the scene, as well as this grandfather clock's feeling a little bit more complex, but I'm assuming this is the same or close to the same shader. This glass has a lot of noise in it.
Quick question on the telescope. The rim light that's on the bottom of that telescope, like on the bottom of the lens,
Mm-hmm.
like I feel like it's not motivated, but like I don't know. It's like I see why they would do it because they're trying to cut it out from the window itself, but like I don't feel like it should be doing that unless there's a light source coming from the like from the bottom of it.
Maybe it's so there's like this really bright piece of wood here, but because this is a very similar value to this, that does like maybe there would be a little bit of loss of light, and you could darken that a little bit so that
Mm.
it follows the same kind of world as like this is further away, um, where we get this interesting shape, and then it's bouncing up here. Maybe it's the same here. We just soften that up a little bit, like, or just make it a little bit less bright. Anyone else have any thoughts? This one, I mean, like in this, I think this, like to me, these feel like more like starting points, and then they're expanding upon them. So like, I don't feel like this is necessarily a one-to-one exploration. I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure it's not. Yeah, that's just the reference, and I think they've taken it and interpreted it in a very, like incredible way.
Can you go to the second image? Yeah, I don't know. I can't see the details on the shoes there. Yeah, the second one, because it should to have diffuse light, but I can't read the details.
Yeah, no, that is really dark in that area, but um, yeah, sorry.
But it's really nice.
Yeah, because this is the reference.
Yeah, this is the reference. Yeah, I really don't have much to say. I think this is great. I think
Yeah.
the bonus points would be getting this shader to feel a bit more in line with how everything else just feels so well integrated. Like I think this looks so real, and then you jump over here, and this doesn't feel real at all. And this is one of the main things that doesn't necessarily feel real to me. I think maybe this window the tiling could be increased so there's a little bit there are more lines, they're feeling a bit big.
And I don't know if he can increase also the ambient occlusion in the scene. So if you look at to the corner as if like it's blending, you can't. It's hard to see the corner in the scene.
Like here.
Oh, back there. Okay.
On the right also,
Oh, and here.
it's blending. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be compression, but it's tough to tell from here. But yeah, there is like it's interesting. There's a shadow cutoff right there on what feels like if this is the line, then like you have the shadow
Yeah.
here and not there. So maybe look at that, see if it can get some of that shadow over here too. So good spot.
My eyes goes to the telescope on the window, then to the left, then to the lamp there. So he has 3 focal points. I can't say. I don't know which one, because the telescope on the next to the window has a yellow color, and the yellow color and the green receive more values, and it's contrast color, so it's attracting attention. And temperature there also attracting attention because it has high value with the yellow.
Mm-hmm.
And the left also the materials different to other materials that in the foreground. It's also attracting attention. So I don't know if he meant it to be in this 3 focal point. Additionally, also the ground 4.
Yeah, yeah, and that's definitely something for them to think about. Personally, this is one where I enjoy that I'm kind of moving my eyes around the scene. But that you know, it all depends on kind of what they would want to do. And that's a good call
Mm.
out.
Yep.
Then there's this one, which is a bit more like an abduction.
Yeah, I was thinking that too because I'm like, why is there like these very hard? Yeah, exactly. It's like those harsh lamps over there, and then you have the warm from the from the door on screen right, and it's like, okay, is that supposed to represent safety? Or I'm thinking a little bit too like, what's the word? Philosophical, metaphorical kind of situation, but thinking practically, I don't understand the motivation for the lamps on the left. The Could you go back to black and white? Yeah, like if I'm doing the squint test, the main thing that I'm seeing right now is just this bright L of just like from screen left and then on the floor, and then you have this white spot in the middle.
Yeah, my eye gets drawn here, to this thing over here.
Yeah,
I think between this and this, they're the brightest things, and like I don't think this. I mean, like this one, I'm suspending my disbelief. Like this probably is too bright, but like I think based on the reference, this is kind of working, and I enjoy it. This one to me feels like we don't need to really draw attention here. Like I don't think the emphasis is on like this alien drawing. You know, I'd say you could make more of a character out of like this spaceship flying over or leaving outside of someone's house, and maybe there's like Close Encounters of the Third Kind or some other films to look at for that. But I think if you like went in and pulled attention away from here, you know, a good bit, it'd help this. You know, it doesn't have to be that crazy, but
yeah, just drawing that attention away from screen right and bring it back to screen left of that
yeah,
alien ship.
exactly.
But if you're bringing that, you have to make it clearer because again, it's like I see floating lights and stuff. It's like, of course, since we're purveyors of all things media, we automatically can think, okay, that's a spaceship. But could a normal person automatically think that's a spaceship?
Yeah, so maybe there's some like modeling or finding an asset or something that gives a little bit more of that spaceship feel. Um, could definitely help.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things, you know, the lights out there are pointing straight down. And so it doesn't, you know, like that feels like this isn't the source, you know, causing this, which, you know, maybe there's like another thruster or something over here, but maybe if those are kind of turned and, you know, aimed that way. But like doing stuff to give it more of that like UFO or ship, you know, I mean, it's all sci-fi, so we're just making it up, but um, you know, making it feel more like there's a collective ship out there doing that. And then if we're looking at the reference, I'd say this is a tough reference to pull from for this this third of the image. You know, I think the main area that kind of feels like it fits is that where you have this like almost abduction feeling light. I know we also have like the warm, cool um, balance here, and maybe like thinking about um, that lamp, but like,
But I think,
Mhm.
so this reference is for exterior, not interior, and his scene is interior.
Exactly. And they're like,
So
go ahead, sorry.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, because night lighting is always contrast lighting, especially inside the room. You have to find this dark uh, area in the scene. Sometimes it goes pure dark, but when you go outside, yeah, the contrast is less. So I think if he find reference that inside or interior lighting, that will be really helpful.
For sure.
And I don't think I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, like, and thinking about him, like, I don't think his scene will lean well into an alien abduction, I guess, unless you give like more like unless you can make it get a model where you can see it and it's framed in that window, sure. Um, but I was also thinking like maybe they can do like this little fun thing of putting like an alien shadow where that because like I like how the shadow is playing on the floor from the telescope, but I would have really liked it if it was like a little alien kind of silhouette right there. I don't know. That's just my own personal taste, so take it with a grain of salt.
For sure.
It's
Anyone?
just idea, maybe suggestion that the light that outside from the window, he can use it as a disk for the moon, and then we can just take it to the left or the center to the window. Then we can see the details as if it is a disk. And then he just take it or duplicate the light, take it up. Then we see the top of the window is white, and then the bottom of the window is dark, which is similar the idea that it's moonlight. And then we can see the window lines getting darker. That will give us the impression that it's moonlight. And then if he can creating that line or beam light goes through the window, because I feel it now it has like noise, right? And then by that way he will start to establish the moonlight and contrast scene inside the scene.
Yeah.
Because I can't I don't know, I feel that light is street light. It's not, I don't know why he meant it to be like that. And street light, it's hard to find. It's getting fog, deep fog.
No, it's definitely stuff to think about, and yeah, yeah, I'm excited to see what the next versions look like. Sweet. I think that wraps up the feedback portion. And since Diana had the alarm go off, I'll sign off. So like always, we'll all hang out afterwards. But for those who are watching online through YouTube, thank you so much for watching the critique. And then everyone who's here, thank you so much for giving feedback, for hanging out, and being part of the community. And we'll see you all next week.
Thank you.